Hello everyone, welcome back to KXAN Live. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Hope y'all are doing great. Thanks so much for joining us. Today we are speaking with one of our fellow KXAN interns whose last day unfortunately is today. But she's here with us and she's going to give us a little bit of the spiel on the story that she worked on throughout her time here with KXAN on the news side and what she learned, what she reported on, all the different elements she gathered. And who I'm talking about is Miss Abigail Saxe. Abby, thanks so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you here on your last day. Tell me a little bit about where you came from and how your time here with KXAN has been.
Yeah, so I'm originally from the suburbs of Chicago, and I go to school in Tampa, Florida, at USF. So I'm in their journalism program over there, and then my sister lives in Austin, so I applied to stations all around and ended up coming here in Austin and just spending the summer here.
Yeah, and you're here at KXAN helping us get some content. Tell me, what was this story that you reported on? I know it's about the elections and the students. Tell me, what was the whole plan behind this?
Yeah, so being a young American myself, I realized in 2020 a lot of people were talking about voting and were very engaged in the election. And this year I definitely noticed that there was a bit more of a feeling of stress and uncertainty around it. So I kind of was inspired to pursue this and ask why and figure out if that was indeed true in everyone's experience or if that was just mine. Yeah.
And we do know that you spoke with a couple individuals. Who did you speak with first? I know you spoke with an expert and a student, but who was that initial information coming from?
I spoke to a UT political expert. His name is Joshua Blank, and he's the research director for the Texas Politics Project. And yeah, he kind of told me he looks a lot at polling and statistics and voting records and trends and stuff like that. And he told me that young people are indeed feeling a little bit not excited about this election and they're a bit unenthused. But he said that's not necessarily a direct result from Republicans and Democrats. He kind of just said it's a feeling of uncertainty overall with the country.
It's not just that Republicans don't trust Democrats and Democrats don't trust Republicans. It's that people can't feel like they can trust the individuals, groups, and institutions in society that have generally lent stability, like the public schools, like universities, like the news media, like doctors and hospitals. And ultimately, with the evaporation of that trust leads to a lot of uncertainty.
And what else did you discover from what he talked to you about?
Yeah, he brought up a lot of good points. I like one of the things he said it's kind of like a chicken and egg situation with younger voters, that they don't always feel that politicians listen to them, therefore they don't always turn out and vote, but politicians don't always listen to them because they don't turn out and vote. So it's kind of a who did what first situation. He also said that younger voters aren't necessarily always going to be the top turnouts just because they don't have to pay bills yet. Not always, at least. They don't have a house, or usually they don't, so they don't necessarily care about those types of things that will affect them in the future.
And you also spoke with the second individual. Tell me, who was that second person and what did she have to say about this?
Yeah, she's a UT grad student. Her name is Sarah Batson, and she's the program coordinator for Texas Votes, which is a UT program just about informing students about the elections and getting them registered and voting and stuff like that. So she talked to me a lot about their statistics. They're a part of this national survey that tells UT how many students participate every year in elections. And she told me that they saw their highest turnout ever in 2020 with 76% of their students voting, which is a lot, but that they experienced a little bit of a dip in 2022.
2014, we saw really, really low numbers. And so kind of in the past decade, we've seen a really great rebound. So now we're consistently around 50%. Although 2022 was a little bit lower, I think that was a national trend.
Now, you did speak with both an expert and a student. Why was it so important to get the student's point of view in this story?
Definitely just because she's also a part of this younger voter demographic, so how she's feeling in general and what she's also noticed about other students, because the first man that I spoke to, he had very much the statistical side perspective, and she was able to tell me what she observed herself being a UT grad student.
So what from this experience reporting on this specific topic stood out to you the most throughout the entire process?
Definitely that UT had nearly 76% of their students turn out. That was a big fact to me that was kind of shocking, just because that's a huge turnout, and I didn't even believe it at first, but after talking with Sarah, I was able to confirm that, and she showed me how they break it down and everything like that, and just seeing how it's changed over the years and how people are informed through even social media or things like that. And just talking to a few other students, they told me that they see the Texas Votes people out, and that they even sometimes get registration forms in their classes and things like that. So I think just seeing how a university is really prioritizing that was kind of shocking to me.
And your article is on our website, KXAN.com. What are some things that our viewers can find on this article that we didn't get to speak about here today on this live?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more in depth. The first part of it definitely talks about 2020 and those voter turnouts with young people, and definitely more statistics and polls and things like that. Then the second piece of the article is more the UT perspective, the college perspective, how students are feeling. I talked to a few students. You can see in that graphic there just over the years how voting has changed and the turnout rates and things like that. So it just goes a little bit more in depth and shows you a little bit more visuals of what the story is really about.
Perfect. So if you want to catch more of the insights of this story and all of those statistics that Abby mentioned, it lives here on our KXAN website, and she also put together a full package story with video elements for everybody to preview and watch here on the article itself. We're not sure if it's going to air yet, but hopefully it will. But if you miss that, you can find it there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So is there anything else that you wanted to mention about your experience here with KXAN, or what you learned throughout your journey here this summer?
Yeah, I learned a lot. It was definitely a great experience. These are a lot of great people that helped me along the way. I definitely learned a lot from some of the best ever, and I love just watching their reporting styles and how different people put together a different story and how they tell it a different way. And it was just really cool to even just be a fly on the wall and observe how being in a newsroom works, and how I guess just the day turns of things, like having an idea in the morning and then having it done by 6 p.m. for a newscast, which was really cool. So definitely learned a lot, and it was a great experience.
Yes, definitely a great place to dip your toes in and get the feel for things. So tell me, where are you going after today?
I am flying back to school tomorrow, back to Tampa, and starting my senior year for college, and then after that, hopefully a reporter somewhere.
Yes, hopefully. We want to wish you the best of luck. We want to thank you so much for joining us here at KXAN and choosing us for your summer vacation. We hope that you have the best last school year and that finals go great, and one day we see you on the air in Texas, in Florida, wherever you choose. Hopefully KXAN, but wherever you are, we hope to see you on our TVs. Thank you, Abby.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And that's all that we have for y'all today. That was just a recap of what our intern, Abigail Saxe, worked on throughout her entire internship here. It is her last day, and you can find that article again on our website, KXAN.com. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, I'm Esmeralda Zamora, and this was KXAN Live.